Excels there. She loves it there. Her recall is impeccable, but I feel like then she regresses once we get back here.
Sure,
Just a
that
little
makes
bit
sense.
because it's so much more relaxed and because my parents don't do the collar with her. My mom
Gotcha.
promised she will try.
Sure.
But yeah. So just, I mean, but like great this morning at the park, great walk in the middle, short walk in the middle of the day. She doesn't love the heat, but
Right. Yeah, today was pretty hot.
yeah, and she just slept in from our weekend. Like she just we went swimming at my brother's house all day yesterday, so like she did a lot of sleeping today in general. But
Sure.
yeah, it's funny. Then we get here and she immediately
Yeah.
sits down right next to me. Yeah, but no, she was hesitant to get out of the car and then went to the bathroom right away.
Okay.
So I don't know that you're her favorite person yet.
Probably.
We're
Doesn't
getting there.
typically happen with me. It's like one or the other. Like there's a dog that we saw this morning who she was like, he either knew he was coming to see you or something because he's like, super excited. And then some dogs are like Luna because I put them under the most pressure. But I don't care how the dog is with me. I care how they are with other people.
Yeah.
So like, let's say if you were to, we start working on the people stuff, and then you're like, yeah, she loves other people. She's great. She's opening up. She's blossoming. But with me, it's just like, no, it's very common.
Okay.
Because I'm the one that does all the dirty work.
Right. She's associating you and
Yeah.
this park with like, oh no.
Yeah. So then everybody else looks like the good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that.
Oh, she said hi to my parents' neighbors. It's a couple who have a dog, and she has never let them pet her before. And they got to pet her Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd that play about? Like,
My mom had her. I was not there. They walked. They have a dog named Maggie who's an anxious rescue as well, but like maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
And my mom said she wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden the husband was petting her.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they say if like she walked over or nobody?
My mom looked as she wasn't paying attention. They were talking and chit-chatting and didn't even realize that she was accepting their attention. So, yeah. And
Did they have their dog with them?
They did, yeah. But she was kind of spazzy because I think Storm was there's something going on. I don't know why.
She was?
No, their dog.
Has she met that dog before?
She has, yeah. They're buds.
With
They're
the
fun.
owners?
With the owners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes when we have a dog that's distrustful, if someone comes in with another dog and they're dog friendly, it'll put them in a social state. So then they're like, oh, well, here's the dog with humans, and they kind of just like the trust,
Right.
like they ties together.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that was the case, then it would have happened prior.
Yeah, no, she only lets people touch her after a couple meetings.
Okay.
She generally doesn't accept people in her personal space.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll talk about today how you can start working on that.
Okay, yeah.
Anything else?
No, just that she's been on vacation, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Oh yeah, she does great in verbs, but then I get back
Right.
here and I feel like it's just a little bit less.
Because all this other
So
stuff.
much going on.
Yeah. So it's super common. I get a lot of people that move from the suburbs. I actually got 2 dogs right now. One that moved from small town Michigan and lives in Southeast now. The
Okay.
dog is super anxious
wow.
and
Yeah.
a lot better, but still very anxious.
Yeah.
And I have another one, the same thing. They're getting better. Like she actually the one, she's from St. It's like Palatine-ish, like.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
my parents are out here that
So
way,
she
yeah.
lived there, and then she did the training, then COVID happened, and then she ended up moving to Lakeview.
Okay.
And then I told her, I'm like, because she had already made great progress, I'm like, hopefully, you should be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she was great. She's like,
good.
no, the dog was good, and I
Yeah.
saw her, the dog was very relaxed.
Awesome.
She's not 100%, but she's like
Yeah.
80% done.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it was through exposure, So definitely, that's why I always would suggest, like, if you know of an area the dog hates, as soon as you have the tools, you should start targeting it.
Do it there, yeah.
And then once the dog gets over that, like everything else just becomes easier. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, nothing else.
Yeah, no, she did really good squirrel recall.
Oh, nice.
I would drop the leash, let her go after the squirrel, chase it up the tree, sniff it for a second or whatever, and then as soon as I called her back, she would come back. Still having trouble with like the 1 foot radius of my body, but I figured if it's
Sure.
me versus the squirrel and she still came back, I'm gonna accept that for right now. Like that was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like picking and choosing battles, right? But that does tell us we have something to work on.
Yeah, I always have to do those extra couple steps back.
Okay.
I tend to always have to.
What's your number?
Usually around a 35 to 45.
Okay, so we'll probably play with the number a bit.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't happen through reps of just practicing, where she'll come in tighter, then I could use power to
Okay.
motivate them.
Yeah.
Because like last week we did something with altering the number, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden
she
you saw
sped
the
up.
shift. Yeah. So that's what we're
Yeah.
aiming to do. And then I think I talked about topics. So like if you're going to work on recall and you want a tighter recall,
Yeah.
that's the focus of that session. don't try to do like 5 things at once because then she's not going to pluck out anything specific. So, okay.
Cool.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So then we'll go to our usual spot. There was flies here earlier.
Oh, okay.
Biting at the other dog.
Oh.
Not too sure why because we've not ever seen flies here.
Yeah.
So,
Like horse flies?
yeah.
Oh.
All right. Is she already on the long leash? No.
Nope.
Yeah, go ahead and swap. You can swap her out. Like you're ready for soccer.
Dog mom activated. I know, you can follow me. It's okay. Brought that in case she just doesn't do so well.
All right.
Either that or I'm neurotic. It's one or the other. We're done.
All right. So what we'll do is we're going to just start with the recalls with the sidesteps,
Okay.
so I can see what you remember,
Okay.
and then from there we'll do a couple of those, tweak anything if we need to, and then we can see if we can touch on the tightness
Okay.
of the recalls, and then we'll we did heal, right? We did the recall. Did we ever do stay?
We started to work on stay. She wasn't stellar.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yes.
We did at the end of a session. Okay.
Kinda, sorta. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually stay is my mom keeping her and then me like walking away, like kind of like my mom holding her and me like
Walking away.
that's as much stay as we can.
Okay. I know. Is that a knot there?
Yeah. Gonna come? Yeah, she always tends to need the extra. That was pretty standard.
Okay, we'll do a couple more.
Okay. Oh, okay. Should I get smaller anyway? I mean,
One. Let me just get her to stay
Yeah.
straight once.
you wanna come?
Do one more.
We're all going. We're going. Okay, gonna come.
And there are taps there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So here, we'll do a quick test, and then we'll do a couple of, just, you're at 35,
I'm at 40.
40. Let's just do a couple of test taps to see if we have connection.
Okay.
Tap, 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 tap. So we have connection, but she's not too worried about it.
Okay.
Let's try 45. Tap, tap, tap. 50. Tap, tap. 55. And what's the
What are
highest
you
you got?
looking for?
I'm looking for a bit more personal.
Okay.
Like in her movement. Like if you look at her, she's not really, like she's still more so concerned about the environment than she is about
Oh,
being
okay.
taller.
Sure.
So we're trying to override the environment. This is going to help tighten up, either speed her up or tighten up so that when she comes to you, it's a
Okay.
Right. Small.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yeah. So, working number is urgency. Okay, working number is what is this? How do I turn it on? I don't like it. And then once we find that right off the bat when you're teaching stuff, you're teaching to that degree. Okay, so like the first day with the healing stuff, we found it was I think higher, and then as you work with her, you get down lower because she's getting used to it, she's getting calmer. But if someone tells me like, oh, my dog's recall is slow, or they always overshoot and I have to turn around and I have to move backwards and I always have to do that, that tells me that yes, the dog has a concept of what they're supposed to do, but it's not important that they do it right. Because when you have that working number, the dog's like, I don't like that. I don't want to risk that happening. Does that make sense?
Okay,
so it's not so much like you're making them like, oh my god, but it's like, oh, like yeah, I didn't like that. I'm gonna do better next time.
I'm gonna avoid that.
Okay, so you're at 55?
I'm at 55.
Okay, 60. Yep. Yep. 65. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna say okay.
Yep. Yep. All right, we'll try with that.
Okay.
It's still subtle.
Okay.
All right, what we're gonna do here is same thing when you call Luna. Clean stuff. Luna come. But I'm gonna have you do more so like a pat pat, and we're gonna see how the return is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Do a couple more. Did you guys walk right prior?
No, not since the middle of the day. We went potty, I went down the block and then got in the car. But then she got potty here.
Because sometimes the heat can affect how they perceive the collar.
Okay.
So don't be surprised if on a really hot day you're very high on the remotes, because you have to override the body heat. It's super common. Okay, so like let's say her number is like 45.
Yeah.
You could be at 105, but she's responding like it's 45. Okay, so like if the dog is too hot, if the dog's under too much emotional stress, if the dog's adrenalized in a state of aggression, those are all things that factor in when doing remote collar.
Okay. When I got her the 1 inch
Broke?
guys, but I have too much.
Okay.
Sorry. Work. Gonna come?
Better. One more. Yeah, girl.
Come?
Okay. So when you practice with her, what I would suggest is you find that working number first, and you should see more of a direct shot to you. Again, I don't care where she lands.
Right. Where
I
as
do
long
that
as it's
immediate
this.
space,
Yeah.
But if you're noticing it's the bypass and I always have to do this,
Yeah.
it's most likely because it's too low.
Okay.
Once you're in the head, she's gonna want to get to as soon as possible, no gains.
Yep.
It should be that
Yep.
direct, okay? Go ahead and try a couple of side steps. Good, wait there, let her settle. Good. Try angled back and right. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Good. And to your left. Very good. Good. We're going to try 2 more, but we're going to add these side steps to them as well.
Okay.
And we'll move on.
So let her pause that sit on that side.
Yeah, so you always want to let her settle first before going into your next movement. Right. Right. Good. Good. And break. One more. Tap, tap. There we go. Tap. Add her. Good. Very good. Excellent. And when you work with her, because there's a couple of those that are super tight, she's like sitting on your foot and stuff, that's how you can tell that the power's working. It should be faster or tighter. There's some kind of shift.
I'd probably down at like a 35 or a 40, I think.
Yeah, so when you work with her, just play with it a bit.
Okay.
And then, because people, when they see the contraction, and
yeah,
they know
I assume that's what it is, and it's not.
No, it's the contraction plus just the fact that logically you know what 60 out of 120 is, right? Because you're like, that's half the power. That people tend to worry.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Right, so you think like 65 is super high, and it's really not.
No. I was actually going to keep going higher.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, yeah, this is decent.
You're working though.
So when you're playing with it, like let's say we went to 85, well, and that was the number.
Sure.
What you would have seen is super fast speed, really tight returns, and right when moving, she's going to be spot on you because she's like, whoa, like I really want to avoid 85 from happening again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I left that 65. I was like, all right, it's almost double what it was prior.
Yeah.
We'll see what we get, and there was some progress. Okay. And that operating number or working number might be different. You know, once you get those probes on, it might be 45.
Right.
Right. You're going by Luna's response, not by the number. Okay. So I know what I'm looking for, and it's doing it and practicing it here so you get a visual of what you're looking for, because most of the time people don't know. So I help them and I go, you want to get this anytime you work with dogs, pay consistency. Otherwise, if it ends up being slow, it's not going to be a very, in a realistic stress type of situation. That's what we're training for. Okay? Questions about that?
Nope.
I think we actually talked about this at the facility about getting her to like go towards people she's unsure of.
Yes.
Have you been able to do any of that?
Not as much.
Okay.
She's so comfortable with everyone at the park. I need like more people to experience.
Sure. Have you had guests over?
Only one she knows.
Only one she knows.
Yeah.
Is that because COVID or is that just because Luna? Or?
And me.
Okay.
Very selective with my friends as well.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
She'll meet someone new tomorrow night,
Okay.
so we could definitely try it, but it's a dog owner.
Sure.
So she's not bringing her dog,
Okay.
but
She's never met Luna.
she's never met Luna. And
Okay.
then someone else who's only met Luna once outside, just because she lives in the suburbs.
Gotcha.
But we're gonna have dinner, and so those two would be good. for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how you're going to approach it? Like, are they going to enter the home or are they going to be outside?
So she's weird, and I don't know if I've ever told you this before, and COVID makes it difficult, but since these are close friends of mine, it's fine. If I hug someone or acknowledge them in a meaningful way, it's like totally diffusing of any situation. Like she automatically likes them once I make physical contact with them. It is when I don't, or if we're talking from a distance, or someone approaches the car when she's in it, like she went crazy. The homeless person one time we were getting off the highway. Like, so it is people I have not had physical contact with, which is a weird thing to say. That's as much as I've been able to pick up on.
Okay. It's usually the other way around. I was expecting you to say she gets really defensive.
Oh no! As soon as I hug them, oh hi Jessie, how are you? And I do the high fit, then she's like, oh Jessie's okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So the stuff in the car is not out of the ordinary. You can correct that.
Do I have to?
No. So, because technically it's security,
Yeah.
right? But what, just so you have the info, is like, let's say it's someone you know, but not someone she's seen before.
Sure.
And they go to approach you in your car, and she's barking at them because she's like, I don't know who you are, but you're like, I know who they are, right? And maybe in that setting, you would want to stop her
Sure.
so you can have that conversation. Is if you don't want to eliminate it, you would want to say something like quiet or no bark.
Okay.
Whatever your cue is,
Sure.
make it consistent, and then you would follow with remote.
Okay.
Okay. So I always start with the operating number, the working number. So like if it's 25 for that day, that's what it's set at. I start at 25. The moment she starts barking, you already know I don't need you to bark. Quiet, tap tap tap. Okay. If she keeps barking, 30 tap tap tap, 35 tap tap tap. I would not repeat the command. Maybe you hit 65 tap, she and then she sits down, settles. You're good. It's still tied to the cue. Okay, and then you have that conversation.
Sure.
So what you're doing is you're telling her it's okay for you to bark, but if I say quiet, that means that you can stop.
That means
right?
it's a safe situation. Okay.
Yeah. So like, let's say if it's somebody you don't know, and you want the security, you wouldn't say anything. You would let her bark her brains out.
Sure.
Okay. And then maybe you assess like, oh crap, I do know this person, and she's been barking for 5 straight minutes.
Right.
Well, then you just cue quiet, remote. If
And then
needed,
she does, yeah.
she should stop. Okay.
That's a good command. She's not super vocal, but that's probably a good one for her to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill security here.
Right.
Right? Because I get that part. It's just being able to have an off switch when you need it. Otherwise, you're just sitting there with the dog barking, and then they're not going to settle. So it's as easy as that, and just pick one cue and keep it to the same kind of cue. Let's say like in the home she was barking out the window, and you didn't want that behavior.
Right.
You would correct for that, but I wouldn't say quiet, because I'm thinking I don't want that behavior. Period. Okay, so then you just put consequence.
Okay.
So for a dog, let's say she jumps on you, right? And this is just for example, and you decide, I don't want you to jump on me without permission.
Okay.
That when she jumps without permission, you would correct it, no warning, right?
Okay.
Because then she learns, I can't just jump on you whenever I want, but then you could cue her, Luna jump or whatever.
Right.
She does so, but then you would need a cue to remove her.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it would be unfair to just randomly remote her from jumping on you,
Right.
because she's not going to know when you're done with it,
Yeah.
right? But let's say there's another person that she jumps on and they don't mind, and you don't care.
Right.
She will learn, I can jump on this person with no rules.
Yeah.
With mom, I have to wait for permission, and then she'll tell me to off, and when I say she says off, it means I have to remove myself. Dogs can learn.
She does pretty well with off. That's her when she's jumping and loving, and I've had enough.
Sure.
And then my mom and my one other friend who I don't let anyone else except for my mom and my friend after the freaking so she's allowed to hug and jump and kiss. But yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she does pretty good.
Right. So it's good to have a cue. The only concern is like, let's say something you use off all the time, right? But then let's say one day she sees someone, whatever, she just jumps on them.
Yeah.
You would technically have to say off in order to discourage that behavior.
Oh.
So she thinks she can jump on them until she hears off.
it.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So just think of it that way. I don't care what the rules are.
Okay.
I just go, this is how you want to apply it, right?
Right.
If you don't care about yourself and jumping and she's invited whenever, and then you say off and she knows that, then great. But when it comes to people she doesn't know and she has that habit, and you want to stop that, then it would just be correction. The moment you see her
So
wanting
just
to jump,
nonverbal tapping.
Correct.
She starts. Can I do it with my friend and my mom?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then you
Even
just
though
tell
they're
them.
allowed.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can tell them like, hey, we're just gonna put some rules, and this is if you want.
Yeah.
And then you can tell Luna jump,
Yeah.
or whatever your cue is, or up, right? And that's when she can jump on you. Because you want to think about it this way. Like, let's say they come over, dinner or whatever, they're carrying their dinner to the table or something, and Luna gets excited for whatever reason and jumps on them, knocks stuff out their hands, things like that. I had a dog knock coffee on the owner once, just from jumping, and it burnt the owner. So it was cute until that happened, right?
Sure.
So that's how I think about it.
Okay.
If the owner's like, nah, I don't care, then I go, all right, I don't care either.
Yeah.
But so if you want to eliminate it, you just remote it, no cue, and then you would use the working number, adjust as needed. So like, let's say Luna jumped on me, and we wanted to stop this behavior. It would be 25, 30, 35, but I don't do anything with Luna. I don't push her off.
Stationary.
I'm here, she's got her paws on me, and then 45, and then she removes herself, and they go, good girl. And I start praising her. Maybe she jumps up again. I just stand still, 45, remote, so she removes herself,
Okay.
good girl. So what she starts learning is, when I put my paws on you, this goes off until I stop, but then when my paws are on the ground, that's when you give me what I want, which is that praise.
Okay.
Okay, so she's starting to differentiate, like, oh, if I want something from you, don't jump on you, just wait and I'll get it.
So
Okay?
if my girlfriends come over tomorrow before dinner and she jumps on one, I know which one it's going to be. So if she jumps on Kelly, Kelly stays stationary. Luna goes, I tap, she goes down. Kelly goes down to her level. And if she tries to hug Kelly down on that level, Kelly just stands right back up.
And then you
and
tap.
I keep tapping.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Yeah,
she
we
settles,
can
and you
definitely
keep
do that.
repeating that, right? And
Yeah.
eventually you'll see your friend go, all right,
Right.
and all that energy, and she'll be excited, but she'll just
But
keep
she'll
herself on the
stay
ground.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then you could have Kelly say up, and then up now
Okay.
means you can jump up. But
Okay.
then you would need off. Tell Luna now we're done.
It's over.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a really common way that people do it. Like, let's say for the couch, it's the same concept. They'll say, I don't want the dog on the couch whenever they want.
Yeah.
I just want to control it. And I go, okay, when the dog jumps up on their own, you remote it. So they learn I can't go up there, and then you can put it on permission base, where it's like, okay, now you can come up here. But then it would, again, you need the off or the removal command, so that the dog goes, okay, now I need to remove myself, otherwise correction will happen. Okay? You can have any other way. Some people have no rules, some people have some rules, some people have a mixture of rules.
Can
Some
you
people,
guess what kind of household I'm in?
rules. rules. Okay?
None?
So, anything behavioral, just think of it that way.
Okay.
Barking, jumping, furniture stuff, and I don't care.
Okay.
I honestly don't.
Yeah, she has total free reign.
I only care when there's issues.
Right.
So like, I had a family whose dog was very possessive over the wife, and I told them, like, you can't have this dog with that kind of free reign because there's going to be problems.
Right.
You know, so they have to be very strict. There's a lot of things on permission. Like, the guy couldn't even walk next to his wife. The dog was that bad. Yeah.
Okay.
The dog would bite him. I mean, bite him, and he did bite him. So I was like, yeah, as soon as you're approaching your wife, the dog is there, tell him to move, and he gets out the space, and you can sit down. You know, like, you have to put a lot of things under control because of the dog, okay? If I get a dog that's super chill, gets to do whatever it wants, but is super obedient, and I'm like, all right, cool, I don't care.
Yeah, I have one girlfriend who never wants to live next to her on the couch, and she's really good about respecting her space, which is funny.
Yeah, because dogs learn by association.
Yep.
They learn, like, with you I can't get away with it,
Yep.
you I can. So
100%.
that's fine. Okay. Anything else?
No.
In terms of trying to push her sociability, like, because with me, right? So here, you're at 65?
Yes.
Let's go down to 45. She's rested for a bit. And tap, 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 tap. Could you unwrap those front legs real quick? I thought it was shorter than it was. Tap, 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 tap. So you see how she's facing away from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because she's not comfortable.
Okay.
So first she was sitting here facing that way.
Yeah.
Now she's sitting here, now she's angled that
Right,
way.
she went where you wanted her to, but she's not giving it to you.
Right.
Okay.
So like another dog would come in and be
and
face
she
to
just
face.
yawned. Yeah.
Okay, there's a stressor,
Yeah.
right? So here, and you can even see that leg here.
Yeah.
She's ready to go. Okay. So this tells you her comfort level with somebody.
Yeah.
So let's say someone was like, "Oh, can I pet Luna?" And it would normally be like a no, she's kind of flighty type of deal. I would use that to my advantage. All you have to do is give them the end of your leash. Okay. And show them how to hold it appropriately. I showed them about the handle over the thumb, right? Close it.
Yeah.
And then just have them crouch, and then you remove yourself, like just a step back, so that when you tap Luna, her instinct or her response is most likely, because she sees the leash, to go to the person. Okay. Now here, I don't really care about the touching aspect of it. I myself just ignore the dog, but I keep them in my space, and you'll start to see her. You'll start to recognize the turning point, because when she goes into their personal space, it's going to be more so directed to them.
Okay.
Or like on them. So like for you, there was some where she came up and she was like this, right? She was giving you kisses and stuff. There's others when she came next to you, just like sat down, but with making that physical contact, she's like, I'm right here, mom, right? So those little things convey comfort. Okay? So when you're working with someone and you're trying to build her trust or just opening up that social bubble, you have to push through these moments of discomfort here. And a great way to do this actually is it's about activities. So for dogs, they hunt, or they would hunt. They eat, they use the bathroom, they sleep, they walk, they play, and maybe another like thing or two, right? It's very limited in the things that they do. That when we're trying to build trust with a dog like Luna, so for instance, when I first started back in Chicago training, I had a dog that from 30 feet away, he would try to run away from you. He wanted nothing to do with anybody, and he wouldn't pee or poop.
Humans, period.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to find a cove that it was like a little cave,
Yeah.
and that's where he would pee and poop. But any little thing made him want to run away. Okay, it didn't matter how far it was, 30 feet or whatever. He was super suspicious. So to get him over me, I had him tethered to me all the time.
Yeah.
So he was just, you're not getting away from me, right? So he would just sit there and he'd be very awkward because he was like this, like laying down, and the leash would just be like that. But eventually, after a couple of days, he just started relaxing.
Yeah.
Because the brain can only stay in that kind of state for so long that eventually it gets tired and they go like, well, nothing's happened, for 2 hours or whatever.
Let it go.
So like, let's say it's someone she doesn't know and you're seeing that kind of like uncertainty. Let's say they're in your home, you give them the leash, you would simply remote them. You wouldn't say, or remote her, not them. You wouldn't say anything to Luna. She's probably gonna want to go away first. You would keep promoting, and eventually she's gonna think this is not working. That she'll turn and most likely go into the personal space. Okay. Now I want close, but I don't need her to be like facing them or anything like that. This is fine. Okay. And maybe just talk and hang out.
Sure.
30 minutes goes by, and then maybe Luna tries to sneak away. You tap. She might try to go into flight. You keep tapping. She comes back in. You ignore her. You keep on with the conversation. So what happens is, since the brain's stuck in flight and it's just kind of containing itself, at some point it's going to try to sneak and try to get away with it.
Okay.
So then you technically have to allow it to a degree
To correct it.
to correct it. So then she goes, oh crap, well I tried to run away, but it's not an option, right?
Yeah.
And you'll see once she gets comfortable, because she'll completely lay down in a resting state at their feet, okay? And maybe she's just laying there for an hour, 2 hours. It doesn't look like much, but that's how we start to get her to start trusting, because you're doing an activity which is resting state for a period of time. That's how we build bonds.
Right.
Okay. So for humans, we can go to a restaurant, we can go to a book club. Hi, we're training.
Sorry.
We can go to a book club and all that stuff. Go to dinner, go for a walk together. We have so many things that we can do to build a relationship or a friendship. For dogs, we don't have all that stuff. Walking, resting, or playing are those activities. But if she doesn't trust me, she's not gonna want to play with me.
Right.
Right? So it's either resting state or we're walking. Okay, so if I took Luna and I walked her every day, and then I gave her structure, and then she's like, oh, okay, you're not that bad. Like, I do stuff.
Get it. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She would start to open up. Okay? So for your guests, that's an easy thing that I have clients do within the home. Even outside, like let's say you're hanging out with Melissa and everybody's out with the pups and everything, and someone new comes by, and they're like, oh, look at Luna, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, she's kind of nervous, I'm training her. Would you mind helping me?
Yeah.
Right?
I can even do it with Melissa, and she still is not huge on letting Melissa touch
There you
her.
go.
Because the
Yeah.
touching thing is always the next step with her. She's still not super fond of Melissa petting her, and we keep trying.
Right. So if she's not ready for petting, I don't pet her.
Right.
Because you're going at the human's pace, right? The human thinks touch is good, right? But it's like in a relationship, if like one person has issues with intimacy, you wouldn't just go and try to kiss that person.
Right.
You have to build trust and comfort until they would allow you and open up to be able to kiss them. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
totally.
Same with a dog.
Yeah.
Touch is intimate, right? So if she's not ready for it, I don't stress about it. I go, okay, cool, just hang out with me.
Just sit next to Melissa for like 10 minutes, let her settle, and then go on her way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe one day you guys are gonna hang out for a longer period, and Melissa's like, yes, sure, I'd love to have Luna with me, right?
Right.
And you're there for 45 minutes, then it's just 45 minutes, right?
Okay.
And then you just repeat that. And then one day, when she opens up, and Melissa's actually gonna be a good one, and I'll explain why in a second.
Okay.
You will see her go to Melissa and push her hand up, or something like that. she's initiating the contact and she's going, hey, pet me,
Okay.
right? Now, normally, I don't do that. I don't like dogs telling me to pet them or whatever because they're telling me what to do. But in this case, you have to make exceptions because this is a dog that has trust issues. So you're wanting that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Those flies are biting her.
Oh, right
Can I
here.
get you, babe? Can I get your phone?
And then one day you'll see her initiate the contact with Melissa, and that's her saying, now I'm ready.
Right.
Now, Melissa's a great person because she's very outspoken.
Okay.
She's a big energy, right?
Yeah, Luna is often like, whoa.
Yes. Nervous dogs are thwarting the flies.
I know, right?
Nervous dogs and
Yeah, because she's got that loud voice and she's got her whole little setup. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, what you would most likely see, let's say she's hanging out with Melissa. We'll scoot down. We'll go down by that field grass tunnel. I feel like we moved all over, but they always follow us.
They're going to find us eventually.
I was at Chipotle the other day with my best friend. They kept following him like for over 2 blocks.
Really?
Yeah, it was that and then a bee.
Huh. Then a bee. So Melissa, let's say she's doing fine, she's hanging out with her, and then 10 minutes in, Melissa goes like, "Oh hi," right? Like there's something really loud.
Yeah.
How are they gonna get nervous or something? You're simply remote, but that's why that grip is so important. And,
Okay.
and Melissa's great because do they follow us? Oh, please.
We'll just have to keep moving.
Melissa, because she knows you,
Yeah.
she would already be prepared. Be yourself, and then if she does that and she overreacts, you wouldn't say anything. It's simply remote.
Right.
Use your number to get her to override and come back.
Okay.
And then 20 minutes goes by, maybe Melissa does it again, you know, and then she doesn't. You might see her flinch, but she doesn't do anything. Now she's starting to counter herself.
Okay. So, but Melissa's using the leash, not me.
Yes, because she's going to try to run from Melissa.
Right.
So if you're holding the leash and runs to you, there's no way for you to. It's difficult
So
to get her
give
to go back.
Melissa the short leash, and I tap from a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no come involved here. There's no Luna.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're making Luna make the decision herself to go over to Melissa. Exactly.
Okay.
So she thinks she's doing it. That's the main thing. If Melissa said come, the only reason she's doing it, or she thinks she's doing it, is because Melissa said come. So she's thinking, oh, when you say this word, I only have to go to you because you said that word.
Right.
But when you silence,
It's just a calm.
it's her going there for herself and choosing to be there. That's the big difference.
Okay.
Okay? That's why when we do behavior work, a lot of times I don't say anything. Completely silent. Okay? Questions about that?
It's fine. Now the wind should help. If the wind stays.
Questions?
No, the Melissa stuff is going to be really good. I'll definitely work on that this week.
Okay. So this is now the behavioral aspect of Luna. It's simple stuff. It's just repetition and time to get her comfortable. Okay? So what we'll do here is we're going to revisit the stay.
Okay.
We can put her on the short,
Okay.
and then I'll see what you remember, see how she's doing with it, and then we'll make adjustments and then see what happens. Okay?
Spoiler warning, I remember nothing.
So let's go ahead and take off the long leash, make it easier for us. And I'll have you real quick, just put her in the heel,
Okay.
walk around, and you can just come down to a stop. Okay? Good. So then what you want to do is with that left hand, you say stay, and you're going to pivot out with that right leg so that you're facing
Right,
Luna.
so I face her. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then ready to pull up in case she moves, right, to control her. right there. Up. Back. Wait a moment. Okay, back to her side. Good. You're going to a heel and repeat.
Heel.
Turn. Good. Okay. Right, wait right there. We're going to forgive this for now. Back to her side. Wait a moment. Heel. Good. Up, tap. Tap. Wait. Now back to her side. Good. Wait a moment. Better. Heel. Good.
Stay.
Up, tap. Good. Wait a moment. Back to her side. Good. We're going to try that 3 more times. Good.
What's up?
Jimmy John.
Not facing me.
That's fine. I just need her to stay put, like a large Diet Coke, whatever. Bottle of water, and you want something.
Large Diet Coke, a bottle of water?
Both. Tap, good. Wait a moment. Back to her side. Good. Let's try one more.
Start dog photography business, Jesse.
What's up?
Start dog photography business.
Good. Now back to her side. Excellent. So let's put her in a heel and then let's bring her to that little bald spot right there. Good. So we're gonna do a stay.
Okay.
You're gonna step out like you were. You're gonna wait a moment. And then you're gonna do like a little half moon on the front of Luna.
Okay.
If she moves that up and tap, let her settle.
Okay.
Then try again.
Okay.
And then back to the center, then back to her side.
Okay.
Okay?
Stay. And then move to the other side of Luna.
So go ahead and get your left leg back so you're more like that. Good. And then keep her leash short like you had it. There you go, because you want to be ready in case she stands up. And you're going to just make a little half moon around the front of her, okay?
Okay.
That's good. Very good. And then back to her side. Excellent. Go back in position.
To heel position.
Yep.
Good girl.
Excellent. We're going to try that 4 more times.
With the heel and then the half moons.
Correct.
Okay. Luna, heel. Stay.
Up, tap, right. Good. Wait a moment. Now relax a bit. Now start your half moons.
Body language facing her, doesn't matter.
Right now, what you're doing is good.
So just these guys.
I know, which is good actually. It's a good distraction. Right, back to her side. Excellent. 3 more.
Stay.
Good. Excellent. Back to her side. Good. 2 more.
Yep. Sorry, now they're attacking me. Yep.
Good. Just thought about it. Up tap. Good. Good. Excellent. Back to her side. And do 1 more. They following you?
Stay.
Tap. Good. Excellent.
Did I? Right. Like the argument, like I'm not supposed to.
Very good. Back to her side. And heel, bring her back. Jesus, I could just see them.
I know, there's so many of them.
So, much better than last time. Remember last time she kept fidgeting around and
She wouldn't
stuff?
do it at all,
Yeah. So, the next step here would be, you know, the stay,
Yeah.
and then you do a full walk around.
Okay. Oh, all the way around from behind her.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, moving behind tends to be harder for dogs because the visual. But what I would do here is just practice this first part, and if it looks really solid, you can expand to the full circle.
Okay.
But be prepared that she might break position when you do the full circle. If she scoots, which is like a loophole, like the dog will do this, I don't correct it because technically they're sitting and it actually just goes away by itself.
Okay.
Then once the dog learns like, oh, you're not going anywhere, they'll like stay put. But if the butt comes up or she stands up, then definitely want to up and tap to correct that. What I suggest for practicing is like when you hit a stop sign or a stoplight,
Okay.
you can do a stay as you're waiting for the light and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Like let's say after she poops, you can up, tap, put her in a sitting position to stay, pick up the poop, back to her side, heel. Or if you're gonna throw away the poop, stay,
Right.
throw it away,
Throw it away, go
come
back.
back,
Yeah, that's a really good
heel.
one. Yeah.
It's just ways to implement it.
Okay.
For me, stay is like the least useful command, but we cover it because, you know, we have all the obedience to
Sure.
cover. But it's technically like the least useful in my opinion.
Okay.
Because if I say sit down or place, it's all has implied stay. So the way I use stay is if the dog's already in position.
Okay.
So like, let's say once we teach like the place command, if Luna were already on her bed and you said stay, like it would mean now you don't.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go with these.
No, sorry.
It's fine. No, you're perfectly fine. We covered everything.